Hey folks, welcome to We Built This White Lake podcast. My name is Amy Van Loon. I'm the Executive Director of the White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are your host and sponsor for the We Built This White Lake podcast, which is filmed right here in CatchMark Technology Studios. And today we have with us Stephen Crooks.
Hello.
With Water Dog Outfitters. Welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
And I must say, I am so excited to have you share your story with us. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it right off to you. Tell us a little bit about Water Dog Outfitters.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. So Water Dog Outfitters is a full outdoor recreational store in the White Lake area. We do kayak, bike, and paddleboard retail, bike service, and kayak rigging for basically all your outdoor needs.
Yeah.
We carry a large variety of outdoor goods like camping gear, tents, water bottles, hammocks, stuff like that. Obviously, some Water Dog garb. And yeah, just a full service center.
We love having you as our neighbor. So if you're not quite familiar, Water Dog Outfitters is right across the street from the Chamber of Commerce office, and have loved to seeing that be built and grow and all things. So I love how you have also diversified your market. Not only do you have just a plethora of retail and inventory in that building and space, but also the services and the rentals that you provide.
Yeah, that's been a fantastic part of our business, and that's actually how we started. The rental business is something that we have grown every year since day one, but originally was my only intent. To be a rental business within the White Lake area.
Okay.
Well, the demand kind of called for us to do more, so that's why we are who we are now. But.
So, yeah, share with us. Give us somewhat of a timeline on how it all came to be.
Sure.
And how you got where you are today.
Oh, boy. So
how much time do we have?
That's a long story.
Right.
So history. Let's just go into history.
Okay.
I've been in a small watercraft my entire life. Okay. I've fished out of a small watercraft with my father since I was probably 5. I worked for a canoe livery in college, and I have lifelong friends that I have kind of spoke to and said, I am building something. I don't know what that something was. I had no idea. But I knew I wanted to do something back when I was working at the canoe livery. So let's fast forward a little bit. Master Tag, a local business here in town, brought me in as a graphic designer, which brought me to the area, which was fantastic. I worked there starting in 2006. Ended up feeling that need to build again, and knowing that sitting behind a computer was not my end game. I kind of started research. 2012, I actually came to the chamber, started doing some research, sat down with the SCORE group, talked to them, see if I'm a little crazy, if it's a viable option. They had their hesitations. Basically, it wasn't really something that was in this area. Nobody's really had a full rental business like what I was discussing. I don't think ever. So there was a little hesitation, but kind of moved past some of those roadblocks on what could go wrong, what might go wrong, and just kind of dove into it. So 2013. 2013, I took a small 401k loan out, invested in myself, purchased all of the equipment I needed, life jackets and kayaks, bikes, paddleboards, paddles, you name it, and hired a small 2-man crew to manage it while I was still at work. And started a rental business inside what was then the Moxie Marine Building.
Oh, yeah.
Next to Dog
right.
and Suds.
Yeah.
In Montague. So rented just 600 square foot in the windows, occupied very little retail space, and utilized the waterfront, right next to what was the Moxie Marine facility. That business they went out of business in 2014, and I was forced to either rent the whole facility or kind of find another location.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I took the plunge and decided to do that, and added a little bit of retail, and kind of started to reinvest in myself. As we made a few dollars, I'd buy product, make a few more, buy more product. Ended up basically reinvesting in myself for the next 4 years. I worked 2 jobs for 4 years.
Wow.
I worked at Master Tag from 6 a.m. till 2, and then I would go to work for myself from 2:30 until 7, and then I'd work every weekend. And I did that for 4 years. And now, granted, the first few years of what was White Lake Excursions was only seasonal. It was a Memorial to Labor Day type business.
Okay.
I wasn't interested in a year-round retail facility. I didn't know if I had the means for it, and I was already working a full-time job. So I didn't need to do that. 2017, I believe it was, 2017, my position at Master Tag was eliminated. They were making changes, and just one of them was one of their product lines that I was representing was eliminated. So my position, therefore, was eliminated. So I started working for myself. Best investment I ever made.
Good to hear.
So 2017, I started working for myself, and we became a 9-month-a-year business, still closing January, February, and March. And keep reinvesting into product and trying to figure out what the next thing is that's needed in the area. So as we grew and the building we were in seemed to shrink because of the retail size, and various other issues, we decided to reach out again. I reached out to the Chamber of Commerce and point me to a building or point me to some property. And that was in 2020. So we were wrapping ourselves around COVID and trying to figure out how we were, what was going to happen. Truly, how do we navigate these waters? And I just continued to, ignorance is bliss. I continued to move forward. And we started making a deal with the city of Whitehall on what is now 115 West Hanson, right across the street from the Chamber of Commerce. And 2021, early 2021, closed on that piece of property. And of course, COVID at the time bottlenecked everything. Building was shut down. Everything was bottlenecked. So it took a pretty substantial amount of time to start building.
Yeah, it did. It seems like it did. When you say that now, looking back, it seemed to move at that snail's pace, and I know you were so tired of people asking, when is this going to get built? When is this going to happen? And you had numerous challenges with with product and construction in general. Yeah,
getting product in during COVID, anything rubber related, tires, seats, brakes, anything, tubes, it was almost impossible. So our service side, the bike repair side, was kind of suffering a little bit, and nobody could really purchase at the time. Nobody could purchase a bike; they weren't available. So you were seeing bikes pulled out of barns and garages and attics that haven't seen daylight in decades.
Yeah.
Well, now they need repair, but the products weren't available to repair those. So there were numerous challenges, and then coinciding that with a simple fact that building prices skyrocketed throughout those 12 months, 14 months. Challenging to say the least.
Sure.
So, so 2022, spring of, we were finally complete with our new facility. We basically shut down for 4 days, moved the entire retail space over, and reopened. So we shut down on a Monday, we reopened on a Friday, and reopened in our new facility in 2022. At our 10-year anniversary, because that was going into our 10th season, so we had our 10-year anniversary grand opening party that May or June, June. And it was fantastic.
It was. That was so fun. And it was also very fun to see all this planning and all this persistence and tenacity on your part come to fruition.
Ignorance.
No,
Totally.
no, I'm not going to use that word. What an amazing thing, though. And looking back, did it turn out how you envisioned it?
Better. Better. I saw there were needs as we were growing. And the one thing I'm thankful for COVID for one reason. Outdoor retail blew up.
I agree.
And without that, and without me being blind to, what could happen, I just kept trudging forward and purchasing product, and it just kept going out the door. So by the time we were even breaking ground and getting ready for the facility, we were fortunate enough to have enough money in the bank to go, yeah, okay, we need to expand already. I see we're going to run into issues with the size that I originally started with. So we moved forward with a larger building. And we ran into a few issues with that as well. But I'm thankful for that, because without that, we would be looking at another addition and more expense now. And so, yeah.
Share with our viewers a little bit more about the rental. So I love the try it before you buy it. You still offer that for potential buyers and customers.
100%.
And then share also with how they rent and how that's the bikes and the kayaks are distributed.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, we started as a rental business. So we will never lose that. It's a solid foundation to who we are. Again, starting out at White Lake Excursions, transitioning into Water Dog Outfitters, more suitable name, a little more sellable.
Aw, who doesn't love a dog in the name or the logo?
In the logo, right. So now that we're in our new facility, we are able to still rent kayaks, bikes, and paddleboards. The people who are interested in bike rentals, either electric or standard pedal bike rentals, we're right on the Hart Montague Trail. So that has increased our bike business 100-fold. We are renting more bikes than I ever dreamed of. I started with 12 regular pedal bikes. Now I have a dozen electric bikes and a dozen regular pedal bikes, and there are days where we are rented out. So being on the Hart Montague Trail has been fantastic for us. The kayak and paddleboard rentals, we are just down the street from Lions Park. So we have what we call the Yaxie, the 6-passenger golf cart, and then we have a trailer attached to that, and we just wheel them up 200 yards up to Lions Park, and we launch them at the kayak launch right on the water, on the backwaters of the White River. So it's perfect.
Nice.
We haven't lost business from not being on water like we were. We haven't lost a single ounce of business. So
Excellent.
yeah.
How has your business impacted the community? You have touched on it a little bit, but you serve the community twofold. You offer something for locals, but also for our tourists. So whether that be retail and rental. But you also really do give back, I think, in many ways that go unspoken or unnoticed. But share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so being blessed enough to start a business, investing in myself and not having a financial backer, so to speak, I've never looked at a bank to do anything other than the building now. I've never looked at a bank to invest in what I am doing. I try to invest in myself. So with that being said, and being kind of a grassroots business within the community, I have the pleasure of doing what I want and need to help the community members. We are asked regularly about donations and if we can help out with charitable contributions and whatnot. And we do that. I do that repeatedly with numerous schools in the area, all the way up to Hart. We've donated a kayak to the Ride with Pride program for Hart schools. We've also donated kayaks to the football programs for Whitehall and Montague. Reese Puffer, we've donated kayaks to them as well. Some of the fishing organizations around the area, we sponsor what's called Chrome Fever Classic, which is a steelhead tournament in the spring. We've donated kayaks towards that. And just people who may be in need, who may not have had, the means of having a great Christmas. We've donated care packages to local families and just try to extend the olive branch to community members who, I am well aware without this community, we wouldn't be in existence. So I love giving back to the community. I have planted deep roots within the White Lake area and I love it. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that. So by me knowing that and having the ability to just kind of donate more, I think it allows me to not ask for permission.
Sure.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
I just like to do it.
Well, you are a gift to this community. You and your business offering something that no other business does offer.
Yeah.
And giving back. So thank you for all of that. What kind of parting message would you like to leave with our viewers?
Well, knowing how important small business flavor is to this community and to all small communities, I push to shop small, shop local. All of our breweries, White Lake is just a blessing with four breweries now. So, come in, take a brewery tour, shop some of the Posh and Pitkins and Hokey Pokeys, and of course, stop into our new facility, see what we have to offer. If we were just big box, and if every community was just big box, it would just be vanilla. It wouldn't have any flavor. So, shop small, shop local. That's my parting message.
That's a great message to have for sure.
It definitely adds to the community.
Great. Thank you again. For any future reference for our listeners, website?
water-dog.com.
All right.
And that is we kind of keep that generic because it's easier to update our socials, so Facebook and Instagram.
All right. So it can also be found on Facebook as well as Instagram.
Yep.
Great. Thanks again. If you haven't had the opportunity to visit Water Dog Outfitters, please do so. They're an amazing spot with location. We do have a great location
with
down
great
there.
neighbors.
With great neighbors. So thanks for tuning in and joining us today. We'll see you next time.